Our next guest has been here many times before. Professor Kagwanja, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Watching Hari Anga, as they say.
Unaonaje? Iko dalili ya mvua.
No, one of the things...
Weather iko namna gani?
No, I'll tell you.
Tsunami nakuja. Tsunami nakuja.
Lakini wacha nikuambie ukweli wa mambo.
Yes.
Hii Kenya SIHAMI.
Whatever happens.
It is full of entertainment. You know, I started in 2003 with the protests. Tukaendelea, watu wakakura buzi ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Tukaendelea. Then we kept the Gen Z. And now, the impeachment. And I'm waiting for the next event after impeachment. So, Nana. The Kenya is full of life, full of events. If you move, if there's another country God created like Kenya,
it's all drama.
He kept it for himself. Sasa hapa ndio mwanzo na mwisho. Acha tukue hapa.
It's all drama.
It's all drama.
And drama works.
Yes.
Hey, my friend.
Maisha.
Ni maisha. City will welcome you with the day's proverb. This week the proverbs are from?
They are from the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Yes. An interesting country with a very rich history. Friendship.
Have you been there, Prof?
Yes.
Algeria.
I've been to 47 African countries out of the 54. Western Sahara I couldn't go because I was invited by Morocco.
Ingeleta shida.
Sasa nifukuzwe. Sasa nikatulia huko Casablanca. Nikakaa huko nikaenda hiyo ingine. 47.
Good.
Well, one of the things that I have not mentioned is that the capital of Algeria is Algiers. Okay? Yes. People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Friendship. We call it friendship, but without sincerity. That's the proverb for today.
Friendship. We call it friendship, but without sincerity. What are they saying?
No, normally what I think they are saying is the same thing as free lunch. Friendship has strings attached. You know, whatever there is. There's a book I used to read, called The Gift. It's written by a French, The Gift. And somebody said, even when you go to the shop and buy a beautiful necklace for your wife, it's not about the depth of the friendship. It's about the expectations.
Very profound.
It's not me saying.
No, it's not you saying.
It's a book.
It's a book, but it's very profound.
The Gift. If you check it online, you find it. It's a small book. You can read in a day and finish. It's The Gift. He problematized the gift.
It's about the expectation.
Yes, and we were studying it when we were looking at the humanitarian assistance. That's why I went there. And we're saying, philanthropy. There's no philanthropy. It's the feel-good effect of the giver that propels the giving.
Is there something about the expectation of the recipient?
So when interrogating friendship, interrogate it from the self-interest point of view. So self-interest point of view,
That's a nice one.
Yeah. So interrogate friendship. He's my good friend. Like my brother would always tell me, he's my best friend. He's my best. Then one day I asked my brother, every person I meet with you tell me is my best friend. That this is my bestest. I said that's not English.
How many best friends do you have? How many best friends can you really have? You know,
only have one.
Yeah.
The rest are friends. And wengine ni raia wetu. Raia watukufu wenye nchi ama waranchi.
You say you are not about to leave this country.
No, I can't.
There is too much drama. Is this drama good or bad?
Well, it's good for the heart.
Whose heart?
Our heart.
How?
We are exercising. You've got to climb a hill in order to exercise there. And you have when you go to a cardiologist, they give you a bicycle.
You are straining and stressing the heart.
Yeah, that's how you get stamina. If you begin to look at things from a more serious perspective, for example, you look at Kenya vis-a-vis our neighbors. How many of our neighbors can impeach their deputy president and remain standing? how many of our neighbors where they are vice president or deputy president, the deputy president will be removed and there is a hura baru? There's nowhere. Karanja was removed, Jaramogi resigned, Murumbi went without a half, Kibaki was removed, he just crossed the floor and went to the Ministry of Health. Saitoti Kim, 1 year out of office. I don't know whether he was looking after cows or what he was doing at that time. I mean, there was no big deal. But now, we are democracy. You don't like Gachagua, you don't like his nose, but you have to deal with him according to the law. Because we are a rule of law country. I know there is a lot of doomsday kind of scenarioizing about, Kenya. No, we are democracy. Because if the disagreement, the rancor, the anger, the ill will that we are experiencing now was occurring in a situation where we have no constitutional process, it would now be affecting our people. Maybe some violence somewhere. But now we have somewhere to ventilate. You just get Gachagua through parliament. People get him through Senate. Then he threatens I'll go to court.
And he goes to court.
And he goes to court. And finally, things will settle and we wait for the next event. Kenya SIHAMI. Aenda wapi?
So this is basically just showing how much of a maturing democracy that we are.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how I would like to see it. Because without this democracy, without the kind of the constitution that we have, and the clarity about processes, when we are voting, Raila is not happy with this, he disputed, he go to the Supreme Court, then we wait for the drama, the people carry boxes, the same Gachagua is now carrying boxes. This is the beauty of our constitution. We must celebrate it. It defines the nitty-gritty of things and people take the drama with it. And, we saw ODM, this is Kenya, where every judge is as blameless as Caesar's wife. So Kenya SIHAMI, siniambie niende kuingia, sitaenda. I'm not going anywhere.
Is that drama good for the ordinary citizen, though?
No, the more Okoh you are, the heavier this weight. Because sometimes there are things you don't understand. But when you understand things from above, it's not a big deal. If you understand things from above, meaning, like now, the people from Murang'a, Arana or Mount Kenya, for example, are feeling that their son is really persecuted, and they are taking it.
Is it Mount Kenya as a whole or a region of the Mount Kenya region?
No, it's as a whole, depending on which village.
Oh, village?
Yeah.
Not county?
If it is my village and I was fighting with Gachagua, my village is not mourning. Now, so this is I wrote an article on Sunday, and some of my friends called me and told me, "Oh, Professor, that was very complicated." Because I wrote about the bad habits, or what we borrowed from what we used to be called the white mischief in the colonial time. You remember the Happy Valley?
I remember.
Where, greetings were very simple. Are you married or you live in Kenya?
Yes.
So the two options were choices. If you're choosing options. That was the Happy Valley, where it was aristocratic life. So, in short, our elite carried the values of the Happy Valley, which is an unquenchable thirst for land. When you can ride on a horse and a day comes and sunset comes and you have not finished your land, then you say, well, I'm good. Wealth and power. Insatiable greed for land, insatiable greed for wealth, insatiable greed for power. You can do anything for power. That is what we inherited from the Happy Valley, the Roderos, the Darameas and others. Now, we thought we were fighting for independence. Actually, it's not independence we're fighting for. I know in a few days we'll be celebrating, Mambo, Masuja. But what did Masuja come home with? They came with the culture of Lord Daramea, Lord Grogan, Rodero. And now we are looking for land. Otherwise, what is the drama? What was the drama in Parliament about this impeachment? What were the charges are about? What?
Wealth.
It's about wealth. It's about
Acquisition of
power.
wealth.
It's about land. In Kirifi, where? Now, if you remove Gachagua and put somebody else, the trial will be the same, because that is what we are. Just remove Gachagua from it and put somebody else. We are even going to find other more obnoxious cases. So that is what we inherited. And now, so this impeachment is about the trial of Kenya, its values, its moral, foundations. This is what that's what we are trying. It's not about Gachagua. It's about our morality, the morality of our nation.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Is there a trial about morality, or is this, like you're saying, is it just the aristocrats up there fighting?
That's all. That's why we are saying, do we need to retain that, or do we need to change?
She's mine.
Yeah?
That's what they're fighting over.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, that it is now paraded in public. You can see it for yourself. Is this what you want to be the future of your children? Is this what you want to be the future of this country? You want a more sober country where people are talking about what you have done and done badly. I wish the accusation was you build a history, a hospital, and in building that hospital, you did not follow the measurements as they were prescribed by the architect or the people. This is not what we're talking about. We are talking about me, my wealth, whether it's legitimate or not legitimate, my this, and you're a public figure. That's what I have a problem with. Because it's possible, for example, to demolish a building, to build another one, and then you are in court or you're impeached because you kind of violated rules about heritage. That this is supposed to be a heritage, and you demolished it, and that's why you are in problems. But when we get to the Monica Lewinsky kind of life, we get into the kind of wealth that what we are now talking about. That decadence is the legacy that we got from the Happy Valley, and the earlier we get out of the Happy Valley, the better.
With the Happy Valley story came the story of white mischief.
Yes.
Okay, so we are talking about mischief here.
Yes.
And if I take the trajectory of thought that you have introduced, something comes to mind. You see, when you have a country that has slowly but very surely built a class of individuals who are wealthy, and the bulk of those who are wealthy are actually civil servants, or had been civil servants, or were in the civil service. Not that they were industrialists. They became industrialists, but it began with their being in the civil service, meaning these are people for whom conflict of interest was something that was written somewhere, but it did not matter. This is where now the Ndegwa Commission comes in, and everything that it is said allowed civil servants to do business with the government. Okay? Now, the full fruition of this is not doing business. We then morphed into what we now call the deal-making era, where people make deals. And the deal-making era is what brought about all these scandals, whether it's Anglo-Leasing, whether it's Goldenberg, and they've morphed. We are in an era, we were saying this in the previous hour, where the boldness with which those in power have carried on is now what is alarming. Because anything that is government-led is likely to cost you many, many, many times more than it should have. And in some cases, it is not even what was envisioned first. It is probably a fraction of what was determined. Okay, so here we are.
J.M. Kariuki would say in the 70s that we have no business building a country of 10
millionaires.
10 millionaires.
There's millionaires then. Yes.
And 9 million
beggars.
Yes. So his, dichotomy of beggar and the rich is what we need to be interrogating this time. Now, people have stopped talking about millionaires. I come from a place called Ruathia. Where our cash crop, I am told, is supposed to be cash itself.
The cash crop is cash.
You come from Rwadia.
Yes.
Okay.
And the cash crop is
So
cash.
your forebears were part of the Rwadia group.
Yeah, those are my fathers and uncles. Yes,
So-
yes. So don't worry about it.
Yes, I am not worried about it. I understand about it.
Yes.
I'm just mentioning it. Yes.
Yes, because we did what the Rural Thrift didn't do. The Rural Thrift condensed the wealth into one family. We diversified to multiple families. It's a difference.
It's not true.
No. We are not going to have that argument
No,
today.
we are not going to have it today.
I invite you for dinner.
I'm going to say they didn't condense it. You say it was condensed. Because when you say they condensed it, you are suggesting
That they participate.
but they participate in the condensing. And I'm saying that is not what happened. Anyway, go on.
But-
Whatever you
back to the
did,
point.
the wealth
Yeah.
was collapsed into one family and created. Now, that's not where we are. Where we are is that we've come to, from JM's, days to date, we've come to a place where we no longer talk about millionaires. We talk about billionaires.
Yes.
And in a country where there are some of our people, and in large numbers, who have never held in their own hand the 1,000 shilling note. Never. They have never had it because they are casual laborers who get 300 to 500 shillings.
Yes.
And they want it that day because if they don't get it, they are going to starve. And therefore, they may have gotten 1,000 in a month or thereabout, but they have never held it in their hand and say, this is my 1,000 shillings. And we have others who are multi-billionaires. And if you begin to imagine, this is how Kibaki would put it, those days when you say, ni kitu mnasema billion. Najua ni nini? This is in the private conversations. If you divide a billion today, if you get 100,000 shillings every day, you're going to live for 27 years.
With how much per day?
100,000. Try to divide it.
100,000
Yes,
shillings.
per day.
If you consume 100,000 shillings
Per
every
day,
day
yes.
for the next 27 years,
27 years.
that's an exhausted
Utamaliza
billion.
billion.
Now that's the time
27
you
years.
exhaust it. You exhaust a billion.
With 100,000 bob
Yes.
every day.
Yes. Now, so what are we talking about? Do your maths. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
No.
But this is what we're talking about.
A billion is a lot of money.
And this is, somebody told me, I have ambition to go to Murang'a to become a senator. That is if this Senate is going to behave well. And somebody told me, "What, Prof, I want to be with you." I said, "Why?" Because, no, I don't want you to go to Senate. I want you to go for governor. Why? Because if you go for governor and you work with me, I'll make you $1 billion in a year. I said, You mean it? Yes. So for him, the selling point is that he'll help me make $1 billion out from Murang'a in 1 year. And that's why he think I'm making
$1
the
billion
wrong choices.
for you or $1 billion for the
No, it's
county?
for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's for me. He's a good servant who will
Okay.
help me, the
Multiply.
ropes, know the ropes, and get over. This is, in other words, he's telling me that if they kick me out of that governor for 27 years, I'll live happily ever after.
Yeah.
With $1 billion, what else do I need?
Meaning even in that 1 year, even
Yes.
if you cease being a governor,
Yeah.
it will not matter.
It will not matter because with $1 billion, I'll live for the next 27 years, and I'm not idle. I'm milking a cow here, collecting the eggs there, eating terere there. So I will not exhaust my scuba. Eric is.
Pesa haiko Senate.
He said it. Yeah, he was trying to kick the foolishness out of my damn head. And I could hear where he's coming from because he's a true Kenyan and the Kenyan spirit, that of the Happy Valley, land, wealth, power, and prestige.
problem-
That's what we are looking for.
problem
Where
with
is
it-
patriotism?
But Prof, when you think about it, that particular axiom, if you look at it, there is no development in it.
No.
There is no benefit for the common man in it.
No.
There is no economic upward movement. There's nothing.
No.
Because essentially, all these things that are done are by people who want to amass,
Yes.
accumulate,
Yeah.
and then spend.
Yes, that's what.
But at the cost of the country achieving what it's supposed to
what
achieve.
it's supposed to achieve. That's what Solomon would call vanity,
Yes.
or vanity.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if, for example, you own the whole Kenya,
And then
so what? There are people who lived thousands of years ago and they owned their own countries.
they did.
They were called landlords. That's where the concept of landlord come from. And they had a system where landlords would gamble, and then by the evening, I'm owned by Eric. And
Because Eric won the bet.
yeah, he won the bet. In the morning, I was yours, and the evening, I'm Eric's. So we're asking each other in our corners of this land, who bought us today? Yeah, it is. By the way, when you look at the political formations, and they have been concentrated.
Yep.
I think we are hearkening back to that
Yep.
feudal
Feudal
system, because like now, if you ask why when they say that Gachagua is looking the mountain, and why Gachagua don't touch the mountain, mulima usiguzwe. Why? Because you want to create a fiefdom, so that by 2027 we'll have the horse trading. So
Yep.
Kalonzo will bring his horses, Lydiah will bring his horses, he's good at it. Ruto, of course, will have his horses, and then we do the horse trading, and you share the country, and the rest of us will crap and talk about the vibrancy
Who bought us today?
of our democracy. Who bought us today? In other words, who won?
We, the pleb, the citizens, right? Where are we? Where are we left in all this? Because as these conversations are going on, in fact, somebody has commented on our YouTube stream, this drama has been going on now for 2 weeks, right? And it's still going to have another 14 days for the president to nominate, another, I don't know how many days for parliament to, we'll still be in those dramas. Oh, who's likely to be the DP? Why not? What? But the Wanjiko in Lydiah, who needs to go to hospital, whose son or daughter has been admitted to university or TVET, who has all these needs to meet, where are they? Where's their plight?
Now, the two things. One is that when we think about democracy, it's actually people-centered. It's supposed to be centered on the individual, the voter. That's why we invest about $25 to protect the sanctity of the vote, including its secrecy and all that. But unfortunately, the moment we vote, the next day, we don't count votes, we count tribes. And we begin to talk about our election was stolen. Not my vote was stolen. Our election was stolen. And therefore we have imbibed that ethos of, feudal lordship, that, the chiefs. And we now begin to defend our chiefs. And that's the debate that's running through this impeachment. It's unmistakable. You can see it. Because if you go to where I come from, Muranga, and talk anything bad about Gachagua, or try to be objective, this and this, you must just tell people the good things they want to hear, that Gachagua is going to survive this impeachment. Don't tell them anything else, because they are very angry.
What are they angry about exactly?
No, don't ask me. Don't ask me. It's just like our landlord is...
So what we're saying is that the landlord should not be taken through such a process.
Because you identify with that his pride is your pride. His tragedy is your tragedy. We have not started interrogating the validity of the impeachment. We are talking about the culture of politics that is shaping our minds and our psychology as a nation. We no longer think objectively, not even about our interests.
What I find interesting is because the community I come from are the ones who have been blamed for having that particular tunnel vision with regard to supporting Raila Odinga.
Now, you like Proverbs. He will tell you about Proverbs from his land. There's a tree called Mukondo. Mukondo.
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
Yes. What is it known for?
It has this bad habit of cracking and sending its backs off. Like it's unclothing,
Yes.
So they say, if you if you befriend Mukondo and is working with it all the time, you'll start condocaring.
Yes.
You'll also begin shedding of your bags. So don't blame us.
Oh, no.
Don't blame us because
I am not in the realm of blame. In fact, I am a proponent of this view that what you're discussing is perfectly normal and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That is the point.
Yes.
That's where I am coming from.
Yes, I hear you.
And I'm saying that when people talk of leadership at a national level, how will people trust you with leadership at a national level when you do not have the support of leadership at your own backyard?
I remember the pain of one of our political leaders, I will not mention names, when people sat at a gazebo. I was private, because those days I was in those business. And they asked, what are you bringing onto the table? Because you've got to bring onto the table two things. One is money, the other one is numbers. So, unfortunately for
Which
our...
of these two?
Unfortunately for our friend, he wanted the seat of a deputy president.
And he had neither.
And he could not match the
He
two.
didn't have the numbers, he didn't have the money.
He didn't have the numbers, he didn't have the money. Therefore, he literally went into opposition. And that's how COD was formed. All right? Because, and you can imagine the anger that you have, that you thought that the values of your country is not, what you are bringing onto the table is your patriotism, the service to your country, what you have done to your people, and so on. It is not what you have in your pocket or the number of people you have managed to buy out who will come here. That culture of politics is what now you see being paraded here. I said somewhere last night, I think the same station, that this is a joint business. They are calling it now the joint venture. Yeah, it's a joint venture between UDA and ODM. And between them and their numbers, Gachagua's goose is cooked.
That's the sort of thing people don't want to hear about.
No, you'll say that. You have got to say it. Because before the formation of the broad-based government, in July, nobody would ever have thought of impeaching Gachagua.
Prof, is this not what the ill-timed BBI and the Uhuru push for it, and the thought and thinking around a parliamentary system, and the push for constituency, is this not what perhaps Uhuru was looking at and seeing?
No, Uhuru himself was in a corner. This is what Kenyans don't want to tell you, because we become habitual liars. By February 2018, the rancor between Uhuru and his deputy was visible. And unfortunately, his deputy had amassed all the numbers. He had all the parliamentarians from Mount Kenya. He had all the parliamentarians from the Rift Valley. What he needed was Raila Odinga to tip the balance. And Uhuru would have gone home as a one-term president, elected and kicked out, impeached. But Uhuru was faster. So he went very quickly to Raila and said, brother, let's talk, brother. We're going to
the brothers talk.
Brothers talk. And they talk like brothers. And Raila understood. That was BPI was about. It was not about all these, flowery dreams you were telling. I'm here about this, doing this. It was about survival, because he would have been the first president to be impeached. And it didn't take long before he was impeached, quote unquote, because he was wiped clean from Mount Kenya, and Ruto swept the board.
And where are we now?
Where?
Well, you said he was wiped clean.
Because
where are we now? Has he remained wiped clean?
No, that's how it is, because he's out of politics, he's out of game. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. If it is indeed out of politics, why then, in an interview that Gachagua had, did he then say that actually, the leader of the Murima is still Uhuru Kenyatta, a man who you say is out of politics?
You must understand the Kikuyu culture of politics.
I actually don't understand it.
Yes, understand it. We have two kinds of leaders.
Yes.
And there's one leadership you'll not take away from Uhuru Kenyatta. We have what you call Mudhamaki.
What on earth does that mean?
Mudhamaki means the titular. All cultures have that. You have the king, and you have the prime minister. Now, in our culture, which was not as more developed as the Victorian system, Mudhamaki simply means the man who has the moral power, and he is respected across ranges. And then there is now Mutongoria,
The doer.
the one who is now having the mudhegi, the one, when you have that staff, you are now reigning. In other words, you are moderating and coordinating the day-to-day business of the functioning. But Mudhamaki is called when things are not adding up, and he comes and now preside. And when he comes, you as the local leader, you put your mudhegi down, the staff.
So Uhuru is
Uhuru is Mudhamaki. And I don't think we have had that. We get another one. The problem
is that how you treat your supreme leaders like that?
He's not assuming it.
Yes.
Yeah. Even Kibaki, what we have had in the last 20 years is where the two conflict. Kibaki was at once Mudhamaki and Mutongoria at the same time. Uhuru was Mudhamaki and the leader. We've never had it separated. In the in the early years, it will be separated. I think this is complex unless you want to understand culture. So Gachagua was saying, I am the one sitting on the Tongoria. Uhuru is the Mudhamaki. In other words, he can call us to order when things are not adding up. And this is the concept we wanted to build into the Constitution. It's not working very well, but we wanted to build it into the Constitution. That's what we created, the post-presidency. And put it into the Constitution as a law, that when the president retires, this is what he's supposed to do. And he's the one who is called upon if the country go berserk, and we have two ex-presidents, they sit. You saw it in America when Al Gore and George Bush, fought over the vote. You saw Jimmy Carter, across the parties, Republicans, Democrats, ex-presidents or former presidents. They come together and call the country to order. That's what we have in Tanzania. That's why Tanzania is one of the stablest African countries, because you can call the former president to lead the riot act to the politicians of the day.
Tanzania, it's possible because they all belong to one party, and the president, former or not, still has some say in what happens within the party. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just adding an addendum to what you're saying. Yes, their system is slightly different from the American one, though you're right, because the Americans also have strong parties, and the parties have a say in very many things.
Begin to imagine, my brother, if Uhuru did not become partisan and backed Raila, that he remained as neutral.
If you had gone into that election
neutral and very impartial. Today, people would be telling you, talk to Uhuru. He might get Ruto and Gachagua talking so that we don't get into this drama. But now he went straight into one side and basically minimized the moral power of the post-presidency as an institution. But that's not what we wanted to discuss, but you were asking me about Gachagua and his saying.
It's an interesting addendum to what we're saying.
Yes.
Simply because when we look at how it is we coalesce around tribal leaders,
yes,
there is logic behind it.
Yes.
That is exactly what you have explained.
Yes.
We may not understand it, but there is logic behind it.
I am sure you have it in Ruran, the Ruth or something like that, the real guy.
It starts off, actually, the concept is Thwan.
Thwan, yes.
Yes, somebody who doesn't buck, doesn't bend, is not afraid. Somebody who is able to take on things. Now, Raila has epitomized that for an extremely long time.
Yes. Yeah.
That is someone who will be followed.
Yeah.
Because people say this guy is fearless.
Yes.
So that's the Thwan.
Yes, Thwan. Yes.
This guy is thinking far.
Huh? Who's the Ruth?
Ruth is a lord, a king.
The king,
yes.
On top.
Yes.
So no, Ruth is the Mudhamaki.
Yes.
Ruth is a Mudhamaki, but in our system, if you look at the Thwan, with the time that Thwan becomes a Ruth.
Yes. The Thwan becomes the Ruth.
When they start now merging and they become.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Meaning he's a doer, plus he's the person people go to when they wish to have matters sorted. He's the one who brings people together. And I think if you look at other communities, you will find they have similar systems.
Yes,
they may not follow this.
The Kalenjin have the Okoh.
Yes, they do.
Now the Raibon.
Yes.
And it's the thing.
The only thing is, when you look at the so-called pastoral communities, you will find that the elders still have the big say.
Yeah.
You will have a supreme leader, but the that supreme leader has to listen to the elders because people still follow what the elders do.
It's the Sultan among the Somalis.
Yes.
I mean, you look, it's an old man. He doesn't look like he's worth attention.
But
and then you are told this is the guy who calls the shot. He's the one who presided over the elections of Mandera.
yes.
Where the governors and the senators and the positions were shared.
Yes.
This is the Sultan.
You see
And
why
it's-
this discussion is important for me is because every time we mention tribe, from a Western perspective, it's the most negative thing you can think about. And that is a misnomer. That is actually not true.
It's not true.
Yes.
You're right.
I want to come back to that question I asked. So all this drama is playing out as the landlords are going to the gambling house and they are gambling, whatever they are gambling at the table and insulting one another. Those people in the farm whose chicken are laying eggs and the eggs have to be taken to the landlord, whose cows they are milking and the milk must be taken to the landlord, right? And they are still sleeping out there in the cold. What's their fate?
The good thing is that we have a system whereby in this feudal system, kind of quasi-feudal system, the landlord doesn't have to come for the eggs because there is taxation system. So you'll tax people and then use the money for whatever you want to use it for. That's the taxation system takes care of the brutality of the feudal system. So the attraction, therefore, is how do you win the hearts and minds of these people for the moment that you are gabbering? So the hour of gabbering is when you need these citizens. And that is coming, 10th of August, 2027. You'll be part of those who be deciding the gabble. Yeah, you'll be given some modern symbols of power, which is the vote.
But the point is that the condition for this guy who's a farm worker, their condition is not going to improve.
Yeah.
Yes, they are being taxed by giving 1 out of every 3 eggs
Yes.
to go to the landlord and everything, so that the landlord then uses that to bring services back closer,
Yeah.
to help this person now stop living in a mud house and start living in a better house so that it doesn't rain. And so that their children can have clothing. When it's winter, they are able to clothe themselves and get warm. But it's not happening.
Yeah, and that's a tragedy because the day when you are supposed to make the right decision, we are not making the right decisions. We discovered that why, cash is our cash crop where I come from. It's because we had a kind of leadership that really thought about not themselves, not their own accumulation at that time, but thought about their people. What's the difference between, for example, Muranga, in that Hire County, and the rest, to the point that we are told by 1970s, Muranga would loan other counties, those times, districts, money. It was because the leadership was exemplary. They come to Nairobi, they organize people into groups, and you buy things from Asians and all. So you find much of the lower part of Nairobi for a long time belonged to one people, because that's what the leadership were doing. Then Kamudo comes and find what can I do different from the other one build business. So what can I do for the others? Today Muranga has the largest number of secondary schools and primary schools in the country. Go count.
True.
Yes, go count.
True.
In every branch you go, you find about. Secondary schools are competing for places to display the billboards.
Next to one another.
Yes, next to one another. Then Michuki came and he said, "What can I do different from what Gidayo did? What Kamodo did? What can I do? No, I'll do electricity and I'll do roads." So today, when I'm going to my village, I can choose from 5 roads, 5 all tarmacked, 5. Why? Because these leaders who are competing to serve the people.
Yes.
Yes, they were competing to serve the people, and they were looking for the difference they can make and improve on the lives of the people.
Actually, Muranga had that unique quality. But
Yes.
you're going, Eric.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah, what is
for?
that?
Because they were not district leaders.
Well,
They were national leaders.
yes, but they knew how.
But they did not even benefit the neighboring Kiambu.
Yes.
Kiambu had the
No. They did. Look here.
Or the neighboring Machakos.
No, they had another agenda. Michuki would not be building roads in Kangema alone. He will also be championing the Michuki laws to bring manners into a public space.
So we should accept that.
So yeah.
Because of Michuki laws.
Michuki laws. When he went to environment,
and the
cleaning
people
of
in Kimana
rivers.
don't have 5 roads that you can access Kimana to go Wacha.
No,
You know, Eric,
I mean, it's the quality of leadership
No.
you choose.
And the national
What Eric
leader
is
called
saying-
Kamodo was only doing schools there.
Actually,
and the
he
people
did.
who are walking, still walking to date,
Where?
30 kilometers, they've got to go to access a secondary school.
That's you choose your leadership. Now look at West Pokot when Runyangapuo was there. Let's move out of
He's
Mount
a governor.
Kenya. When Runyangapuo was there, we were saying, now we began suffering from bad leadership ourselves, and we're saying he was using money for county to build hospitals and schools. Now West Pokot is not that primitive place you used to talk about. Now it has raised a little bit.
But Prof,
Fantastic.
Prof Eric's point is
he
a
was a
valid
county
one.
leader.
Pro Eric's point is a valid one because you're more or less admitting that these leaders use national resources to build their backyard.
But that is very recent. This is across generations. The first person.
No. By the way, I am not complaining.
Yes.
Because other places had leaders who could have done similar things for their whichever area they came from. But that argument, for it to be true, you're talking of Kiambu.
Yes.
My friend, you're talking about an era when Kiambu had more ministers than anybody else. So, I mean, if you talk about development, those ministers should have brought that development to that Kiambu.
Do you know now, at this era of one Dr. William Ruto, His Excellency, that Mount Kenya as a region has the largest number of cabinet ministers ever since independence. This era. In Murang'a alone, we had 2 cabinet ministers. Forget about Kiambu. Murang'a alone, okay, until the reshuffle. When we donated 1 seat, the treasury to Bandi.
Yes, you. Yes, you had the Prof and you had Alice.
Yes.
If you consider chairman of budget as also a minister.
Yes.
Didi Nyoro.
Didi Nyoro. And then you consider Ichungwa, the head of
leader
of the majority. Under this regime, if ministers were to count, we are doing better than Jomo Kenyatta's era, more than Mwai Kibaki's era.
So this story that the popularity of William Ruto has been reducing in the mountain is a myth.
Well, that's not the argument we're making.
No, that's the argument I'm making. Yes.
If you want to make that, you pay me, and I'll tell you whether it is true or not. I'm a consultant in my other life. Eric, save me from this guy.
Bottom line, Prof.
This brother of mine. Yes.
Bottom line.
Yes.
Okay. The Kenyan who participated in an election is going to participate again in an election. And in between is expecting services. When the Kenyan is watching, and the drama in Parliament and the Senate is about acquisition of wealth in 2 years' time, when the drama in Parliament is about this Happy Valley kind of stories, what's the Kenyan supposed to do?
I think what we are lacking is something simple. We're lacking education, they call it civic education. I would call it education in patriotism. Because at the beginning, our founding fathers and founding mothers simply said that we have only 3 enemies. They don't identify a third one. 3 enemies. One is poverty. If a family sleeps hungry, and another one is, the other one is ignorance and disease. So put the economy straight, put education straight, and put health straight. The rest will be added unto you. That's basically was the argument. Now, we need to basically get to that. Housing, all these other things are immaterial. First of all, deal with the 3 enemies of our people. Now, civic education would mean the voter know what to vote. I'll say this and stop. In ancient Greece, there was a competition between the candy seller and the dentist. And the dentist lost square. Because the candy seller said, choose me, elect me, because I'll make your life sweet all through. And this man is going to make your life painful. He'll be plucking your teeth. And the candy seller won. This is the game we have during elections. The candy sellers are always winning and spoiling our teeth.
Professor Peter Kagwanja, political analyst. Thank you for today.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.